Yellow! What's up, guys? How are ya? Today I am making a video with the Nissan here. It's a 2008 Nissan Sentra Spec-V. This is kind of a video I wish I would have made a long time ago. We've had this thing for 3 years now and done all kinds of projects and stuff to it. It was, a couple years after I kind of laid off YouTube for a while and I stopped making a bunch of the base videos and stuff like that. But yeah, done a whole lot of things over the past 3 years to this thing. It was just kind of an extra little project car. We would do stuff and kind of have a unique car to take to shows. Not a whole lot of people have a Sentra that they do mods and stuff to, especially here. I'm in Arizona, so it's the first of anything like it that was really at any of the shows that are around here. The real purpose, though, that I want to show you guys is, well, this thing's getting ready to be sold. So there's not a whole lot of time to go over things and make a lot of videos like I wish I would have. But really the major thing is it's turbocharged. And I want to show you guys that it has what would be called, quote-unquote, an eBay turbo. And it just plain works. I want to show you guys that, the install, it's just all stuff I've done myself, and it really can be made to work. All it takes is a little ingenuity and some research, a little mechanical experience. But I've seen a ton of different, people trying to do installs and doing different videos and stuff on eBay turbos or different like off-brand turbos or things that you would find on the internet that everybody says are garbage or won't work or anything like that. And this one's proof right here that I had the same question and I wanted to try it myself, and I did research and did everything properly, and it works, and it works well. I'll pop the hood, I'll show you guys a little bit. Alright, so here it is. And under hood, it's not the prettiest piping setup and everything in the world, but everything's functional, everything fits, nothing interferes. Able to keep the battery in the front. Basically my goal was take what the stock off-the-shelf kits for the Spec-V could do, like the Treadstone, or I know there's other kits out there, other turbo kits. I think Turbonetics makes one, I'm not sure. Take one and have the same power output or greater at half of the price. A lot of those kits run $5,000, $5,500, which is only really $1,000, $1,500 short of what I spent on my VF Engineering supercharger kit for my 5 Series up there, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, when you're putting it in an E39 or something like that, something that's a European car, it's a little bit, more justifiable that you spend that kind of money on. There's like a billet bracket that comes with that kit. There's, a Vortec V3 blower that comes with it. There's reasons why that stuff costs so much money. It's very, very well engineered. But when you're starting with a car that's, a $20,000, $25,000 car new to start with, I mean, it's a lot harder to justify putting that kind of money into it. And, honestly, it's not a whole lot of power for what the money that they're asking for that kit is. So my goal was to make equal power, which I think they claim they make about 300 horsepower. I don't even think they claim wheel horsepower, they just claim crank. And yeah, I wanted to beat the 300 horsepower, and I wanted to do it for half the price. So, $2,500, maybe approaching $3,000. And I did both. I've done this, and I was able to, on the first dyno run, this thing did 307 horsepower at the wheels. It's wheel horsepower at just over 7 psi. So it's very low boost, and yeah, I've been running it daily at around 10, 11 psi ever since, and it's been absolutely problem free. Same turbo, same everything. Let me give you a look here. It was basically just one of the generic intercooler piping kits. It was just basically a kit that came as one of the brand is like a Rev 9 or like a Godspeed. So any of those you can find on Amazon, eBay, anything like that. And it's a QR25. They claim, they advertise it as the B16 generation kit that comes all with it. Basically started with that. It's a Rev 9 T3 T4 turbo, 57 trim. It's a little rusty there because I just washed it out earlier. Washed out the engine bay, but yeah. Just, let me see if you can see back there. A little bright up, but it just has one of the cast log manifolds. See if you can see back there a little better. One of the cast log manifolds. I mean, it's not completely perfect. I had to do a little dremeling right around some of the bolt holes. But I did that. I made it fit. After that, it fit with no problems. Everything was easy to tighten down. I ported out that intake manifold, and then I gasket matched the flange gasket down there. And then I also ported out a little bit the turbine side of the turbo housing. So everything is a little bit ported from how it came out of the box, but it also matches, which, you know, being these kind of parts, the fitment wasn't perfect, but I made it so every port matched and everything was as good as it could be when it went in to make, you know, make the most out of what it all was. But there's that. I fabricated the downpipe and everything all myself. You know, welding and everything is nothing special, but it's all mandrel. It all goes down there. The kit came with the 38mm standard type wastegate. This turbo actually was a little bit too much for that to be able to control because I kept getting really bad spikes, sometimes up to 14 or 16 psi. I changed out, and that is, I think, a 44mm, because I had to use that adapter there. Let me zoom in on it to go from the 2-bolt style to the V-band style. And then I tied it in. You can't really see it, but I tied it into the downpipe. Made a little wastegate that goes straight into the downpipe. Everything's AN fittings for the oil drain. I have a fitting tigged right into the oil pan. That's 10 AN line, so I mean, you know, no just regular hose and hose clamps. Everything is as legitimate as I could really make it, so that way, even though I was using, you know, I guess you say lower end parts, everything was as solid as it could really be. I did get some extra piping, and I just put the intake side going down a little lower because right where this hose is, it was really hard to fit an air filter. But even with those treadstone kits and stuff like that, you're supposed to relocate the battery to the trunk. So that was one of the better things, is the battery stayed up front. I didn't, even though I have a, you know, extra cabling going to the trunk for audio and stuff like that, it wouldn't have been a big deal to just use that cable and relocate it, but I like everything staying kind of where it was supposed to stay. I was able to keep the fog lights as well. A lot of times you can't keep the fog lights because the intercooler piping is very close going back there, but everything fits. Intercooler's in there. I just welded some brackets to the bumper support right under there, some steel brackets, lined everything up, and those are really easy to mount the intercooler. I did use Subaru injectors. That was one of the things, you know, you just do some research and you can find stuff that fits perfectly. So actually STI injectors were perfect, that fit this car, and they were just the right flow rate for what I was trying to get out of the car, which the goal was 300, and now knowing that I push, you know, 10, 11 psi, no problem. I know this thing's making an easy 330 at the wheels, maybe 340. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's in the tune. I mean, I had a very good tune done. It was actually, it's an UpRev tune. It was done in conjunction with UpRev and a Dyno tuner here in Arizona. It took them probably 9-10 months and about 6 different tries to really get the tune completely right for this car. It would have little hiccups or fueling issues. A lot of those problems were due to, even though it's a 4-cylinder 1-bank engine, it has 4 O2 sensors in there, so it's got 2 upstreams and 2 downstreams, and the 2 upstream banks would fight each other. One would pull fuel and one would dump fuel, and it was having some runnability issues that way, so they had to crack the code on how to make that work. But they did it, and it's been running great ever since. I probably got, I would say, probably about 10,000 miles on the whole turbo setup. Done few trips from Arizona to California. I mean, you know, hundreds of miles at a time. It's just no problem. Everything just works. Everything's good. The turbo's been fine. I'm, you know, getting ready to sell this thing, like I said, so I'm not going to start taking everything apart just for the sake of showing, but, you know, periodically I do take everything apart. I mean, shaft plays really almost nothing. I mean, it is just a journal bearing turbo, but everything's been good. I mean, I do run, you know, good oil. I run, you know, Castrol full synthetic 540 in it. It does get changed pretty much every 2,500 miles. It stays very clean. So, you know, keeping up with the maintenance a whole lot has a lot to do with it. It only runs, we have crappy gas here in Arizona. We only have 91, but I do run, you know, good Shell V-Power, 91 octane, you know, the best fuel that's available here. Just always run good fuel in it, run good fluids, and do everything frequently. I mean, it's just like a factory car. Just keep up with it, and you take care of it, it'll take care of you. I do, you know, warm up the car, make sure everything's at full operating temperature for at least 5 minutes before I hit, you know, any kind of boost or anything. I always let the car warm down for 2 minutes after I'm done, you know, driving it rough whatsoever, so it always gets warmed up and cooled down. I mean, I'm sure that has something to do with the life of the turbo a little bit, giving a little bit of oil flow time to cool everything down. But yeah, I mean, it's I know a lot of other people have been doing projects just trying to use eBay turbos and stuff, and you know, they'll blow up or fly apart or fall apart. I mean, I might have just got lucky and got a good one. I really don't know. Sometimes everybody, you know, might just get bad ones. I also don't know, but this is the first try on this one. And I mean, I didn't do it because I can't afford like a nice one. I could put a really nice precision turbo and have a tubular manifold and everything made for this car if I felt like it, but that wasn't the point of what I was doing. The point of what I was doing was seeing kind of just a challenge to myself and just kind of experience using the parts for myself. Are they really as bad as everybody thinks, and can you meet a goal using these parts? And I feel that absolutely you can. I've done it. I'll try and take a shot and include of that dyno sheet. I haven't gotten a dyno printout of every time it's been on the dyno, because like I said, it was on there 6 times getting this tune right. But I mean, the very first time it ever touched, yeah, it was at 307 horsepower at the front wheels here. So, and that was also before a lot of the exhaust stuff had changed. The downpipe I made is 2.5, and right after the downpipe it goes 3-inch full mandrel all the way back. And I believe on that very first run that it had that, I didn't have that exhaust system in it yet, so it was actually choked down to 2.25. It was making 2.25, and I think after I put the bigger exhaust, that's when I was having wastegate issues, because it got better flow and it was over boosting. But yeah, I made the lower power with the smaller, or that power with the smaller exhaust, so I know it's making better since then. But yeah, I'll do some startups. I plan on putting a couple other videos up. I mean, the thing's quick. I mean, it runs good, so if you put some time and ingenuity into stuff, I mean, it's just like I learned in the audio world. A lot of it's 25% parts and 75% user. You can definitely, you know, make more out of less in situations like this. Here, I'll start it up real quick. It's been hours since this thing's been on, so I'll give it a cold start. Do you have a boost gauge, AEM wideband. It is just temporarily up there because I wanted everything in the car to be reversible, but I mean, the car's clean. It's been a good project. I do have a Walbro 255 fuel pump in it, so that, you know, helped everything. But see, no check engine light or anything. Passes all inspections here in Arizona just fine. I don't have to do any kind of funky stuff to get around emissions regulations or anything like that. And I mean, the tune, with the power that it makes, that tune even is a very, very conservative safe tune. I mean, when I'm under full boost, I mean, it gets into the mid to low 10s on AFRs. So I mean, it's not even a real power squeezing tune whatsoever. It's a really safe, you know, easy tune that was going to keep this thing from blowing up with stock internals in it. Because I didn't start this project with the intention at all of doing a built motor or anything crazy. I just wanted to do a direct comparison on what the turbo kits were that are advertised. Yeah, a little more about the car. 18 by 9.5, so I think plus 22. Just, you know, regular front wheel drive, wide offset. I know a lot of people for rear camber on these they do like an axle bend or something like that. I didn't want to do that, so I did use hub shims, and I was able to get an alignment that I liked. I was able to actually straighten the toe out a little bit because these do have a little bit of a toe issue from the factory. So I straightened out the toe a little bit and gave it some camber at the same time. The car's a little higher right now. It's about an inch higher than it normally sat before. K-Sport coilovers, they've done well. I mean, I think they're all the way lowest in the back, or they were all the way lowest in the back, and then I took an additional coil off the springs too because they weren't really low enough. Yeah, eBay turbo parts, Subaru injectors. It does have R35 GTR spark plugs. They happen to be the same thread and 2 heat ranges colder for the boost. You do have to be careful a little bit because this newer spec QR in the spec version of the SCR is 10.5 to 1 compression, so you do have to be pretty mindful of knock or anything like that. But yeah, it's been a good fun little car. But the new owner that wants it, he's traveling over a couple states, and it sounds like he really wants it, and it's going to be a good home. So I've got the E39, and I've got the F10 M5 now too, and you know, weird combination, right? Who would ever think that somebody that wants an F10 M5 would want a Nissan Sentra? But it was cool. It was out of the ordinary and served its purpose, and I think it did it pretty well. Alright guys, I'll put up a few clips of the car, but thanks for looking. I know there's a lot of people out there that have also tried to do some research on these cars, as I found when I was. So feel free to ask any questions. I mean, I know some of this stuff's a little bit tricky to find. Some of it's pretty easy to figure out, but yeah, feel free. I'll try to answer any questions I can for you. Thanks for watching.